I want to start by addressing the greasy elephant in the room. My hair is not wet from a shower. In fact, quite the opposite. Hygiene is a thing of the past in Tampa right now. This is just thick, caked on layers of grease and filth. I look like a Madame Tussauds wax statue. But it's not by choice. I'm not choosing to revert to troglodyte instincts and just turn my room into some kind of 4chan masturbatorium cum dumpster where all of a sudden I just give up on showers or anything. It's because Tampa, in all of its baffling, stunning glory, found a way to blow up the water main yesterday or 2 days ago, however long it's been. It's been 2 days without a shower for me. Because a third party was doing work on the city and they found a way to just bust that fucking bad boy completely sky high and flood half the city. I don't know what kind of work they were doing. Knowing Tampa, they were probably trying to find rare opals by just using dynamite in the streets, hoping to get lucky or something, and they ended up just blasting the pipes. But either way, it contaminated the water supply, so we're under a boil water notice and I can't shower. Rather, I don't want to shower. The city says the city will have you believe the water is safe to bathe in, just not consume. And now I'm going full conspiracy theory fucking Redditor here, and I'm starting to question the truthfulness of that kind of statement, because if the water's safe to bathe, but not consume, how safe is it really? And I'm a hypochondriac already, so I just don't want to take the chance. Knowing Tampa, they're probably just dumping raw plutonium directly into the water supply. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they just said, hey, this radioactive chemical power plant needs to be drained. Might as well just do it right into the water main here and just further contaminate the water supply. No one will notice. So I'm just, I'm not going down that path. I bought like a case of water bottles to try and bathe myself with after this video. So we'll see how that goes, but I just wanted to explain that right away. So it's only been a week since the last time I shit on Nintendo, and I want to again reiterate, fuck Nintendo. And within that week, they've somehow found more interesting and creative ways to just be hated. It's like they're speed running to try and become the most hated video game company in the fucking world, and they're succeeding. In the last video I made talking about their shit, I kind of chalked a lot of it up to just them being technologically incompetent and out of touch and afraid of change. But after the last week or so, I genuinely just believe this company is evil. I really think that they just hate gamers or their audience that they try and cater to, and do anything they can and go out of their way to keep dropping their fucking butthole in the mouth of the people that buy their products. So I'm not going to go over the same stuff I talked about in the last video. If you want to see other things to hate Nintendo for, you can watch the last video I made. But this one I want to talk about just what they've done recently. So let's start with the most pathetic thing they've done. There was a Splatoon tournament coming up a couple days ago where it was just a Nintendo Splatoon tournament for some teams to come in and compete for the grand prize of $25, which I think is probably the highest prize pool Nintendo's ever fucking offered, because they don't show any support to competitive games. To be honest, when I heard it was a $25 grand prize, I was fucking pumping both fists in the air like, yeah, good job Splatoon, you finally got Nintendo to shell out the big bucks for you. Because when I hear Nintendo grand prize, I usually think of cents. So I was expecting 25 cents maybe at most, but man, going all the way for $25 was nuts. And keep in mind, it's not actually 25 real world dollars. They were offering $25 worth of store credit to Nintendo service, baby. That's almost like 3 months worth of their awful online service where you get to play with dial-up connection. I mean, hey, it's a fucking great deal. Nintendo's crushing it. They hate the word competitive in regards to their games. They hate it. I guess it's a company run by people who only ever got participation trophies and now hate competition. I don't know what to tell you. But they fucking hate it and they offer no support. But anyway, they have this Splatoon tournament coming around where the teams were competing for $25, and they're not really there for the money. They're there just to have some fun. And anyway, 4 of the 8 teams that were competing, I think it was 4, had Save Melee, or some way of showing support for the Melee scene. Now, just to bring you up to speed on the lore, Nintendo recently shut down a massive Super Smash Bros. Melee tournament just because they didn't like it was being played on an emulator. It was really petty garbage, a bunch of bullshit, and the Splatoon community wanted to show solidarity with the Melee community, so they just made some variation of Save Melee or Free Melee as their team name, and Nintendo responded by shutting the entire fucking Splatoon tournament down. That's a bit of an exaggeration, but they revoked all live streaming rights of the tournament, basically just killing it from the get-go. And the Splatoon community then went to a different tournament with a $1,500 grand prize pool, which absolutely annihilates Nintendo's official one. So it worked out for the Splatoon community, but it just shows Nintendo's willingness to spit in the face of the people that love their games so much. Nintendo fucking hates gamers, I think it's safe to say at this point. They genuinely do everything they can to go out of their way to shit on the fun. And also, even more laughably, one of the Splatoon Opens, the grand prize of $25 wasn't even awarded to the team that won it. Here's a tweet from the team that won. They never even got their $25 gift card. Nintendo is such a piece of shit. Nintendo is so unbelievably heinous in all of their decisions, and I genuinely think they do it maliciously. I don't think it's incompetence. I really think they just have a hatred for the people that buy their products. They can't even be bothered to squeak out a $25 gift card for a team that loves their game that much and competes in tournaments. Like, that's so fucking bad. But it doesn't stop there for Nintendo. Their appetite was ravenous and they weren't satiated yet. They were thirsty, and the only thing that would quench their thirst were more Nintendo fans' tears in their glass. So the next thing Nintendo did is they set their sights and put the crosshairs on one man, making custom Joy-Con controllers that were made to honor Etika. Etika was a YouTuber and a streamer and a huge fan of Nintendo IPs, and a man named Captain Alex was making Joy-Con controllers to honor him. And of course, Etika had the Joy-Con boys, so the controllers were outfitted with Joy-Con boys on the controller, and the money that was being made from those was going into charity. And of course, Nintendo, being the greedy, soulless corporation that it is, they sent a cease and desist shutting down production. Nintendo and cease and desist go together like cereal and milk, peanut butter and jelly. They just fit together so nicely. It's used so often. Nintendo and cease and desist are pretty much synonymous at this point. Like, from now on, if you get a cease and desist, you can just call it getting Nintendo'd by this point. They cease and desist anybody. They would send a cease and desist letter to a 4-year-old that did a crayon drawing of Super Mario if it didn't properly represent their IP. To be honest, I'm surprised that Nintendo hasn't tried to sue everyone that wears a green shirt because they say it's related to Link from their IP, Legend of Zelda. They are truly shameless garbage corporation. They are the anti-fun video game developer. And I bet you're thinking, Charlie, well, that's gotta be it, right? And you'd be wrong. They have gone on a complete rampage in only like 5 or 6 days. Today, they shut down the soundtrack for Super Mario, Zelda, and Mario Kart Wii. You can no longer hear the soundtrack on YouTube. They've blocked all of it, or at least most of it, and they're going to continue to do so. It is now forbidden music, because it's Nintendo's music. There's a few more things I was reading about in regards to how they would strong-arm Twitch into not allowing certain things to be broadcast, but I feel like a lot of those aren't 100% confirmed, so I'm not going to touch on it, and I don't even need to. I think it's pretty clear Nintendo doesn't care for the people that buy their games. In fact, I go a step further and say that they genuinely fucking hate them. I don't think that's a stretch to say. I really don't. They have to go out of their way to find these things that they're shutting down and cease and desisting. They have to genuinely be scouting the entire internet to look for people to shit on. It's crazy. Now, I've already started my protest of Nintendo. I didn't buy Age of Hyrule Calamity, Chlamydia Warriors, whatever the fuck it was called. I already forgot. The Age of Hyrule Warriors Calamity, whatever. Because fuck Nintendo. I've never seen a company be so open with how much they don't like the communities that play their games. It's wild. They're not just out of touch. They're downright attacking the people that play their shit. If they're not playing it in the Nintendo-sanctioned way, then Nintendo's gonna try and have your ass thrown in jail. It's a terrible company. It's horrible shit. Horrible, horrible shit, really. Fuck Nintendo. That's about it. See ya.